Hello guys and welcome to today's video. Today we're back with the Glykhan fight as promised after the 8.3.6, a bit more of an in-depth video. So he is the fourth of the corrupted armors, probably the hardest, but I will say once you get used to it, it shouldn't take too many revives. I probably took about 7 to 8 on my first attempt, on my second attempt 2, and on my third attempt I did it in just one revive. So the fight is quite tricky. It's a lot harder than the Iron Man Cerastus at 8.3. The counters to him are champions with lots of prowess. They do quite well. These are champs like Storm, Pyramid X, Regular Storm, Emma Frost. Then you've got champs like Kitty Pryde worked quite well. I used Bishop, who worked quite nicely. In the end, I did just go with Kitty Pryde though, because I think her phase really helps you out in this fight. So let's go through what the fight has. Then we'll talk about his divine punishments. I unfortunately don't have any gameplay for this because all my recording of it has crashed. If I was on the CCP, I'd be able to skip straight to this fight. But as you guys can see, unfortunately, I'd have to do a whole path and then get back. And while I'm going for Act 8 completion, I can't really afford to waste 70 energy just like that. So hopefully you guys understand that. But yeah, without further ado, we'll talk about it. Experiencing is probably the best way to get used to it anyway. I watched a couple of MCOC Noob's videos. Shout out to him because he obviously helped me. And now I'm making a bit more of an updated version to help you guys who may not have seen his videos. So what does he have? No nodes, which you'll be glad to know if you go through the Red Guardian. So he is obviously the Punishing Angel of Ouroboros. He is the Punisher Corrupted Armor. The opponent's effects that trigger against final bosses do not trigger against Glykhan. He doesn't take any damage from any source, except from hits that are chained from a combo that has punished his heavy attack or special attack. So this is one of the biggest, the biggest pieces of information. You don't do any damage to him, so every hit is 0, special attacks are 0, no matter how many prowesses you've got, unless you punish his heavy attack or you punish his special attack. Both Special 1 and Special 2 are dexable. Quite easily actually. SP1 much easier than the second. SP1 has to be a bit more timed. He throws something at your feet, so you've got dex away from that. Then he teleports close to you, which he jumps at you. So you'll understand this a bit more when you see the fight. If you do want to see the fight, check out other content creators' little videos of the how to dex his specials. But yeah, he quite easy dexable, but once you've dexed the last hit, you must then dash in to do damage to him. Hits that would deal damage to him are guaranteed critical hits, so every hit is a guaranteed crit. So you don't need to bring in like your Shang-Chi's, so you do more special attack damage. Every hit is a crit. A little bit of poetry for you guys. Attacker's attack and critical damage rating and Glykhan's armor rating are locked, so you cannot. There's no ability accuracy difference there. He doesn't take damage to damage over time or anything like that. Blocks hit into your blocks with like a Valkyrie does nothing to him as well. Each hit of his special attacks inflict a wound of defiance passive, which I will get up on screen in a moment. The little icon with the divine punishments. Talk a bit more about that. When he would be knocked out, he instead has his armor shatters, then goes into the second phase and third phase. There are 3 fights for this. Each phase, you need to take him down all of his damage. But once you get to the sort of third and final phase, you'll be quite okay with it. So these are just cross-fight abilities. So this is if you die, you can still revive and you keep them. So you do keep your prowesses until the phase ends. If you do die, you do lose those prowesses, unfortunately. He manifests his wrath into divine punishments. Each unique divine punishment is activated by a different action, which we'll get up on screen in a moment. They stack up to 3 times. When activating a divine punishment, the attacker gains a 40% prowess passive. Again, you'll see that. That's how you do your damage. So each divine punishment, which are stun, hit into the block, striker, intercept, special attack, gives you one of those permanent prowesses. They're not lost by throwing a special attack, even if, say, like Bishop loses his prowesses when he throws an SP2, and so does Kitty Pryde. They don't lose these prowesses, so they work really nicely. Punishing one of his special attacks that didn't make contact with the attacker removes a random divine punishment. So if you can dex all of his special attack, it removes a divine punishment and gives you another prowess. When he's knocked out, 3 random divine punishments are removed. So that happens at random as the fight goes on, not too important. In phases 1 and 2, you 12 total stacks of these divine punishments. These removes all active divine punishment and grants you 3 prowess passive. So if you do you do 4 of or you remove 12 divine punishments, it could be you get all of the stuns, all of the hits in blocks, all of the strikers. You do 1 intercept twice, but you throw your special attack twice. And it equals 12. They all refresh, and you gain 3 prowesses, so it's quite easy to build those. If he's struck while stunned, if it doesn't deal damage, so if you just parry him and then hit him, you're inflicted with a Wound of Defiance, which does about 3.5% damage over time. So these are the defined punishments. So let's grab that on screen right now. So as you can see there, there will be the icons. They'll be just below his health bar, and there'll be numbers inside them. So you've got stun. If you stun him, you don't want to hit him after you've stunned him. You just want to stun him, dash back, wait for the stun to wear off, and that's your stun divine punishment. You're hit into a block, wait till he's blocking. You need to dash in. You'll obviously dash in with a medium. Then your first hit, so you're basically your second hit into the block, your first light. Dash back out again so that you don't do it back to back, and gain a divine punishment, which is the red icons there. That will remove 1 divine punishment. Striker, the first hit that deals damage to him from your striker is the middle icon there. You need to intercept him twice in a row. So you dash in once, intercept him a second time. That removes that divine punishment. And then finally, throw a special attack. So relatively self-explanatory on those bits. As mentioned with the stun, do not hit him after you've done the stun. So stun him, dash out, don't hit him, because if you do, you'll get divine punishment. The same with the hit into block. If you hit him twice and not just the first light attack, you'll get divine punishment. These sort of change throughout the fight. They're not too complex. They are always there. If you go through the null path, as mentioned in the last video, these are reduced from 3 to 2. The easiest way to do this, to get the divine punishments, I think, is to stun him, get that down to 2. But you know that's quite easy to do. So really, hit into his block, get that down to 3. So you go from 3 to 0. You get 3 prowesses. Striker, every time your striker's available, hit him with it. Intercept him twice. Try and do that 2 times, and then your special attack, will do damage. As mentioned, do not throw your special attack unless you're countering, you're punishing his heavy attack or his special attack, because they're the only ways you can do damage. Again, you'll understand this way more when you're in the fight. Obviously, at the minute, if you're just watching the video, you guys won't quite understand what I'm talking about, but we'll get a few little clips. Hopefully, other content creators will have that, because as mentioned before, I don't have the clips on my videos of me fighting the Glykhan boss, unfortunately, because when I completed it, I didn't think I was going to upload the videos. So we'll jump back on to MCOC, read the rest of the information and see what little bits are there. So when triggering a divine punishment that already has its max stack, so if you've stunned him 3 times already and the little icon will go grey, once grey, if you then try and stun him again, or you hit into his block again, or you use a striker on him again, he will counter-attack you, similar to, say, like Elsa Bloodstone's counter, where she hits at you when you go to parry her. And then the next hit, no matter what, he'll counter-attack it, and that will obviously mean you can chain some hits to you. That can be removed, however, if he's struck by a striker, so if you can intercept him with a striker, or a special attack, you've got one ready, and you just want to throw that to get rid of that evade charge, just do that. Don't worry about taking the damage, because he will then hit you. His counter-attack ignores unstoppable, so you'll be hit no matter what. And it can't be caused to miss or be interrupted by evade. So with Kitty Pryde, he was able to miss the first hit, but then I was stunned and he managed to hit me again. When counter-attacking, his blast removes all prowesses from the attacker and makes them unable to perform actions until hit. So again, like I said with the Kitty Pryde, if I was invisible or I was phasing, he tried to hit me, I was stunned, I couldn't do anything until he actually hit me. So you're guaranteed to take damage from that counter attack, but you also lose all your special attacks. This is something to keep in mind for Hela and Hulkling and Hercules. They will not work, because if you gain immortality or indestructible, he gains a special 3 immediately, and that knocks you out. You can't do anything about that. You can't take his power away. That's that. Keep him to his SP1. So much easier to dex. His SP2 isn't that hard, actually, but in the latter phases, you'll have to get his power up. So in phase 1, this is just easy. This is just regular, get used to the fight. His special attacks 1 and 2 cost 5% less power for each stack of Divine Punishment. Which is good, obviously, because you want him to throw your special attacks so that you can do damage to him by countering those. Special attack 1, you'll get used to evading, so you'll basically dex that every time. It's not difficult. His combat power rate is reduced by 25%, so this is just easy. The way you'd play this, get the Divine Punishments down, build up your prowesses, counter his heavies or his special attacks, and just take 100% of his damage out. Shouldn't be a problem. This phase helps you get used to the fight. Isn't very tricky at all. Once you're used to the fight, it's not a problem. Just as mentioned, get the Divine Punishments down in a particular order that you're used to. Make sure you're constantly aware of what they mean. You know, you've used your relic twice. You've stunned him twice. You've hit into the block twice. Then be careful you're not hitting into the block 2 more times, because that will give him a counter attack and charge, and you will take damage. Phase 2 becomes a little bit more tricky, but it's still not that hard. So he only throws his special attack when he's got 2 bars of power, but he won't just throw a special 2. He'll throw either special 1 or special 2. This is obvious because when he throws a special 1, it says unstoppable on the screen and a little passive comes up, so you know it's going to be an SP1. Or an unblockable comes up for the SP2, so you know it's an SP2. I would recommend in phase 1 keeping him to his SP1, but try if he gets to a few SP2s, that's not that bad, so that you see them before this phase, because you will see more special attacks, SP2s, than you did in the first phase. Other than that, nothing changes. Divine Punishments are still the same. Take them down as you would. Get to 12, so it refreshes. You get more prowesses. And that shouldn't be an issue because they're permanent prowesses. As long as you don't get knocked out, you can probably play this fight quite slow, build your power up with like a Kitty Pryde or a Bishop, end up throwing 7, 8, 9 special 2s. Because they're permanent, they won't go away. They only go away if knocked out. Not a problem. So for Ouroboros is phase 3. He starts this phase with each of his Divine Punishments at max stacks. So they're at 3, and you have to remove them. So every time you do a stun, say, it will go from 3 to 2, whereas usually they'll start grey, and every time you gain one up to a max of 3, they go orange. Triggering Divine Punishment removes them, but still grants you a prowess, so that's nothing to worry about. When all removed, they're reapplied following the next combo chain that damages Glykhan. So once all of them are gone, all 12, 3 of each, or wait for him to throw a special attack, count, or a heavy attack, counter that, do damage, and then once you've done that damage, they'll all refresh and you'll be able to gain prowesses again. When he activates a special attack, you're rooted, so you have to be aware of that. You won't be able to get the big distance for the SP2, so you've got to be a bit more careful on your dexing for both that and the SP1. Once per fight, Glykhan has a 99.96% chance to gain indestructible passive, preventing damage from any source for 16 seconds. That's when he's at 1% health, he's about to die, he'll go indestructible, he'll go super aggressive. You have to wait out that indestructible, but after that, just any hit instantly knocks him out and he dies. So that is the fight. It sounds quite simple. It is quite simple once you've got the hang of it. Use the first phase, take it slow, work out the divine punishments, use your mutant champs that we've already said, your Kitty Prides, Bishop, Storm, and build up your prowesses. Champs with big SP2s like a Storm, she's really, really good for this fight. Really good. So she should be the champ if you've got her leveled up, you've got her ranked up, then yeah, she's quite good for this. So is Emma Frost. Play the phase 1, get used to the special attacks. Then in phase 2, nothing much changes, but get used to the divine punishments. Don't do the same one twice, because you'll get counter-attacked and he'll do damage to you. Don't get hit by the special attacks, because they will give you a divine, or what is the red one called? A wound of defiance. If you block one of his special attacks, or if you get hit by it, that will do the wound of defiance, deal 3.5% of your max health as direct damage over 2 seconds. So you cannot block his special attacks either. You have to dex them. So that makes it a little bit more tricky, but they're very, very easily dexable. Hopefully you guys completely understand the fight. Check out some other content creators maybe taking the fight if you're still not quite sure. But as I mentioned, the best way to get in is to learn all the information, hear it as you have from me, jump into the fight, understand it a bit better. If you have to take the Red Guardian path a couple times, you shouldn't have to use any revives because it's quite an easy path. Go in again with another energy refill, and once you're more comfortable with the Glykhan, jump in that way. So again, hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. Hopefully this one has helped you out. If it has, please leave a like and subscribe down below. I would massively appreciate that. Leave some comments. Let me know how you found the Glykhan boss. If this has helped you out, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.